still in that position, but Ling, Hayabusa, even Tsuyo dropping down in priority.
Yeah, and I wonder if BTK are going to return to that playstyle as we look into some words from a member of S2G. Begin says here, when they won MTC, he didn't tear up, but after beating the MSC champions, he teared up due to his unsatisfying performance and the mistakes he made in the early game. It was a roller coaster of emotions of that game number 1, and I think it's well warranted that S2G were emotional afterwards.
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm pretty sure that win yesterday was the culmination of all their hard work, because for the longest time, S2G has been standing in the shadow of Fireflux, in the shadow of Ulfednar, and now that the spotlight is on them and they were able to get that big upset win, I understand why the young man Begin actually teared up.
It's actually pretty funny to think about it, right? Because being in that shadow, for the first time, they get to say, sit down, big brother.
Yeah. And, well, for S2G now, I feel like it's the best chance for them to revengeance? No.
Avenge?
Avenge, there, thank you. To avenge the loss of their brother team. And, of course, in case you forgot, Siggy Boom is the actual brother.
The younger brother.
Apex 47.
Yes.
Out of how many siblings again? It's like 10 plus?
You know,
like 11? There are 11 siblings. Someone mentioned this to me, like 11 of them in one
Close to
family.
a dozen.
Close to a dozen. Yeah, but well, that is 11. But yeah, it's a big family, and 2 of them are esports pros in the global scene. So now, if you are BTK, Gideon, are you gonna go into this and say we're gonna be aggressive, we're gonna get up in their face, or are you gonna play their more Mayweather-esque defensive playstyle that they went for?
That's actually a great question. Personally, for me, I think that playing the Mayweather defense probably is going to be a little bit better this time around. We're seeing that a lot of teams, we're seeing 2 polarizing sides, right? Either you're hyper-aggressive, or you are going to slow the game down until you can play towards that end game scenario where there's a lot more free flow and adaptation on the fly. I think we've seen S2G kind of play a little bit of both, but generally, when we are looking at the fundamentals, purely from a fundamental standpoint, I think that BTK might just have this in the bag.
Yeah, I doubled down. To be more specific, I want BTK to hit it like Tyson. I want them to be aggressive. Because of all the teams that we've seen, I think I picked this up from a content creator on YouTube, one of the more informative ones, Yunji, if I'm not mistaken. It's mastery over meta. Yeah. Despite what's happening in the greater landscape of MLBB, if you know your heroes well and you know the limits of how you can push it, you can perform better. That's what we saw yesterday in their debut match.
Yeah, so maybe BTK go for the ear, you know. They have an ear fixation, if ever. So, gentlemen, we kind of practiced this beforehand, so time to whip out your PPs. It's the prediction popsicles. So, what's it gonna be? S2G or BTK? I will start off the festivities. For me, my prediction, it's BTK. I'm in on the hype wagon, man.
Really?
I'm in on the hype wagon, and it's not because they may or may not have promised me a jersey, but I am in on the hype wagon. I've seen enough from BTK. They're ready for this, and they're ready to, I feel like, be a team to get in the heads of another team that will look to be the aggressors, as you mentioned.
I don't know about that one. I want to say yes to BTK. Yes, I did mention that their fundamentals have been looking extremely good. More importantly, so their form has been looking great. Personally, for me, I gotta go with the boys of S2G this time round. They put a strong game against SRG, and I think if they just play it a little, you know, add a little polish, bit of varnish, rub it over a little bit, get that nice little glossy shine, S2G will take this.
All right.
Stay.
This may be a double-edged sword, but I'm gonna predict for the Crows. Number 1 is because I really want to see them hit that momentum stride. I want to see them go further and prove themselves, but also I think this will be good for BTK because BTK they're proven to perform well under pressure. So if somebody doubts them, somebody as close to them as I am, they're gonna go, Leo, we're gonna prove you wrong. Zia's gonna look me in the eyes, Manong, I got you. I'm gonna beat him.
Did you call me Manong?
Oh yeah, no, it's like older brother in Ilocano. We're both Ilocano.
Oh, I didn't know that. I know Manong was like old man, but I didn't know that was older brother. That's very cool. All right, so it's time to get to know our 2 teams. Let's start off first with the slay to stay Turkiya Kings of S2G. Here they are. I'm pretty sure Siggy Boom's gonna be in there, right? Oh yeah, the Turkish Trigger Man is 100% there.
Yes, of course. One more player I think we have to note is Kazue. Yes, he did bag the MVP performance last night, yesterday morning, afternoon for some of y'all watching from around the world. But You see how he did not die on that Suyo? And even sometimes how deep he would be, like underneath tier 3, trying to find Kill, trying to find Stormy, trying to find Innocent. This young man does not pick fights. He picks spots.
And they gotta pick their spots perfectly up against a team with a simple goal to make America bang again. It's BTK up on your screens. Gideon?
Look, I gotta mention, Zia, Shark, Hoon, as well as Mobazane are doing really, really well as a unit. But the big standout for me yesterday, and especially the transition from early, mid, and as well as late, I think I gotta point out Fly Chicken. Because again, the composition that they played yesterday with the Fredrin, most of the time people are gonna be like, it doesn't have enough damage. Where did that damage come from, especially early to mid? And it came from that Arlet. How many triggers did he get? How many plays did he make in that game itself? I think that Fly is something you gotta keep your eyes on, or maybe even target in the draft, limit that pool.
I fully agree with that because it was Trex himself saying that Fly Chicken needs to end up with a hero that is active around the map, that is proactive in setting up plays. And his final slash, he landed 3 very clutch ultimates as an Arlot to set things up or even finish up a fight for BTK.
I think it's the heroes that can make use of his Twitch reactions. This young man, he's got great game IQ, game sense, but I think it's more of just a sudden snap, the clutch that Fly Chicken can take advantage of.
All right, I gotta ask, gentlemen, which one of you do a better Mobazane impression?
You want to try?
Oh no! I mean, I'll just talk the way that I talk, right? In the past, I tried to rejoin Hoon and Shark, but they kept saying no. I had to beat them a few times. I left the previous org because they kept speaking Tagalog, even though they could speak English. It just didn't feel comfortable. And we asked them about what made him reunite with Hoon.
Very valid.
Very valid.
That is a very valid concern. But now I'm pretty sure Mobazane is definitely feeling like he's in Cloud9 with him being here on the world stage.
Oh, yeah,
I'm sure he's very happy about
He's
it.
at home with his Ohio brothers right now. Like this stage, this is what he's used to. I think Miracle mentioned how this is a very M3 feel-in tournament. That's where they kicked a lot of butt.
Yeah, and let's see, if they continue their trend of beating Turkiya teams, maybe then they can say, oh yeah, it's back to M3 form for us. By the way, the MLBB Rising Open QR codes are there on your screen. You can also use the redeem code MLBBSPEC. It's gone now.
I got it in just
You got
time.
it? I didn't.
I scanned it with my ROG phone.
You already got the 9?
Fast. It's that fast.
It's that fast? Holy. Okay, let's go into the drafting phase. As fast as the ROG Phone 9, it is time. And what are the main picks that you're looking out for here in the very first phase, Gideon?
Oh boy, I think a lot of the main picks, it's really tough to say because based on what we saw yesterday, right, the draft is such an integral part of the Swiss stage. As good as your fundamentals are, you need to create an advantage for yourself. And I think that right now, from S2G, I really want to see how deep their pockets are. We're already seeing first pick Suyo, and you put it, you mentioned it yesterday, if I remember correctly, about having, it's not just about blue side, red side, it's the following picks that matter a lot more.
Yeah, and the follow-up to the Suyo, it's the Bruno from BTK and the Eve. I feel like for a very strong team fighting team, those are great picks, but I love that they prioritize the Batrix on S2G.
Matilda, where's the Matilda?
Taka?
It's gotta be.
Hopefully.
It's open.
Oh, by the way, Turkish Trigger Man gets it.
See? Back to back. Signature picks. It's gotta be. Come on, Pagu.
I think they have to decide between the Cho as well as Matilda, right? Both providing two different use cases, but at the same time, we've seen how Cho has been devastating games. You got it right on the dot. It's going to be the Matilda this time around. They prefer the mobility.
Yeah, the first 3 picks of S2G Scream. Yeah, we heard what you said, and we're kind of pissed off about it. But hey, my theory is right. I said BTK yesterday. You know what? Go ahead and pick the Fredrin again if you can, and it's a great lineup for a Fred to shine, honestly.
Boba Fred.
MOBA Fred. Best part about that is just because, you have a Matilda, I'm gonna lock you down just enough so you lose out of the guiding wind.
Ooh, okay. So let's see if that Fred will do well here. Wait a minute. Mobazane's actually half Turkish? That's a fun fact for you.
Maybe from his mom's side. I remember him having this conversation with him.
Whoa. So hopefully we get to hear Mobazane speak and drop some Turkish phrases from time to time. I don't know, maybe.
That fist bump is gonna be real awkward.
Yeah, it's like S2G is going in there expecting like, we'll speak to him in English. Like, wait, did this man just speak to us in Turkish? Okay, so Glue gets taken out by BTK, and honestly, it makes sense when you have a tight formation around an Eve, around a Fred, and a Bruno. A hero like Glue who can mess up formations. You'd rather not go up against that.
Yeah, Glue in the past 24 hours of Swiss has become a breakout here alongside the Grangers, alongside the Joys, suddenly becoming more and more in demand.
I don't know. I feel like, again, the fact that Glue is getting banned out in the second half of the phase, like, there's no pick that warrants it other than the Fredrin, who's going to generally struggle with it, especially around neutral objectives. There is a possibility that they're looking to set up for maybe even a Phoveus. There's already plenty of dashes on top of the Matilda as well. But the fact that they're banning out the Arlet and as well as Cho, really good stuff coming from S2G.
Yeah, now you take away a very proactive EXP laner that could fall into the hands of White Chicken. Honestly, if BTK just want to box, honestly, instead of going for something tankier, they could go for something more duelist. Yeah, somewhat duelist in the Phoveus as an EXP lane.
Easy triggers off of the Guiding Winds.
Yeah.
Whatever you end up in the XP lane for Lunar should be a 50-50 at best. But the one thing I don't feel and I don't vibe with in the Phoveus is it's not a White Chicken hero. You know what I mean? Like there's no clutch. There's no clutch to it. You know where he's coming from.
Oh, okay, it's true. It's true that you kind of see him coming at you, but I think that he's a very unique hero in the way that you play those clutch moments because it happens so quickly. You have such a small iframe.
And it lasts so long.
Exactly.
He can live right in your face, close up the gap. I see.
This means 100% of the last pick for BTK. I think they're going to go tanky again, especially for the roamer here. You have 3 tanky frontliners because you're not going to make the Fred go frontline. The Phoveus cannot frontline alone. The Phoveus needs someone else with that. So Edith is the pick here for S2G. Great pick. Shark is proficient with that hero. Paired it up with an Eve that could have been a nightmare, so they take it. And they take the Valentine as well, covering their magic damage bases. It's a well-rounded lineup for S2G, but it is the Guinevere of Shark in the roam.
Interesting. This is really interesting because Hylos would have been the perfect pick, but it already got banned out by S2G because of their foresight. With this Guinevere, now you have 3 triggers for the real world manipulation to pop off.
I feel like we're gonna be seeing a lot of brawls, a lot of fights here for this very first one. So, Ingon and Naisu, take it away.
Thank you so much, panelists, breaking it down. The new version of the We Bear Bros. Now, welcome to the caster desk. What is up, guys? I'm Naisu, and joined with one of the newest additions, just like we saw yesterday with Brigida. Now it's Ingon. Ingon, how we feeling, man?
Daddy, I feel great. I'm excited to be here. The venue's awesome, and of course, our first match is going to be so hyped up.
It's going to be hyped up, man. You know, day number 1 was quite the interesting opening day. I think good luck to everybody's guest coins this time around because I know mine were in shambles, but to kick off day number 2, I can't wait to see what unfolds for us. Jumping into the Land of Dawn shortly to see how the day gets started. It's S2G and BTK to break things down and get things started. I'm wondering, this is now the second time Mobazane has brought out an old pick of his that actually worked out really well yesterday.
Moba Fred.
Moba Fred. It's the Fredrin again.
And actually, this boils back to Leo's point a while ago wherein he said that it's all about mastery instead of the meta. If this is Mobazane's mastery, why not? And work up against a Joy, and this time it's up against Suyo. So let's see if BTK alongside Mobazane can actually pull things off once again.
I think at this point, too, you have to be able to watch out for this. But also, you guys watching at home, you guys got to watch for the M6 Pass because it's now available. You can complete all the active tasks during the event to hit level 75 for free, get amazing rewards, including Claude's battle emote, the M6 Glory Avatar Border, Baksha's battle emote, and the new special skin of Baksha Dauntless Shield, all for free. So make sure you guys go ahead and grab that because the action already starting here once again. Early rotations too, Ingon, what we expected here with S2G. I know right away when you look at even the emblem sets being put into place, this lineup from S2G wants to move around fast. They want to be able to rotate quickly. They want to be able to even utilize the Matilda pick. This is... Oh, and it looks like they're going to make a move here.
Okay. Boon flicker up, but Shark goes in with a spatial migration. BTK won't commit to the fight alongside S2G. And looking at the emblem, Z actually has the Master Assassin, so he's confident going up against Sigiboom down to the laning phase. But the thing that bothers me, or the thing that concerns me rather, is the Guinevere roam. We've seen it. Renegade used it up when Aurora played yesterday. The problem is the range of the spatial migration. Even if you paired it up with the flicker, it's going to be hard, especially up against a Matilda. So it's really easy to predict by S2G when spatial migration is going to be casted. But look at this, Bloodthirsty King going on right now. White Chicken with the Infernal Pursuit as S2G works on the turtle.
All right, they're going to start it up. I think they're going to break on a fight.
Oh, beautiful Earthshatter combination! And Kazooie gets the first turtle, but Shark wants to answer right back with a kill onto Lunar. Pagu is safe. And that's a trade BTK is willing to take, transitioning right away to getting that orange buff.
Yeah, actually, they're going to take quite a bit from that. So they got, The objective going in the hands of S2G, not too bad, but BTK, they won't let it just be, you know, resulting into that. They get a kill on Lunar, they end up taking a buff from that, and they'll go ahead and get back into the rotation. Always that first turtle is kind of up in the air. You know, you don't have to completely secure it because you know you still have that second and third coming up. And with a lineup like this, you know, that's something that we can talk about and break down even further. With BTK's lineup, it's kind of a slow burn. I mean, talk about how successful this Bruno pick has been. I think he's, what, 75% win rate right now? Something insane.
6 out of 8.
I'm actually surprised we didn't see it banned out, you know? But in this case, the fact that you just want to go ahead and have that build up on this Bruno, Zia is going to be in a good, you know, situation where then he's able to pop off later on, especially into when Hoon sets up the real world manipulation. Now, if you missed the game yesterday that BTK played, you know, they almost got to a point where the game kind of got a little shaky, almost got a little scary if they were actually going to be able to close out the game. So I hope that they were able to go ahead and kind of adjust themselves for this game, as mistakes can turn things around so quickly. I think that's one of the most deadly things about our current Swiss stage format, you know? This best of one.
Whoa! Dark managed to find a pick-off, but still managed to escape here. No kills whatsoever for both of these teams. And this is what we were saying, as the real-world manipulation will be casted by Big In. Here comes Pagu. So still, no casualties. 4 minutes in, only 1 kill the whole game.
That's a whole lot of just, you know, showing what's available, but no one goes down. A couple ultimates. They might still kind of press this, but even for Lunar, he's got to be careful. Whoa! Solo kill up top from Sigiboom.
Okay, so that's the reason why you picked a Tenacity instead of a Master Assassin, because if you have a Master Assassin and you're going one-on-one laning phase and you lose that fight, it's going to be hard for you to come back. Shark manages to find one again with Spatial Migration, but Begin, quite sneaky, manages to escape as Kazue will get the second turtle.
All right, second turtle. Kazue able to secure that one. And like I said, it looks like, you know, BTK, sometimes it looks like they want to fight, but then they don't just have enough damage just yet. And going back to the point, what I was saying with best of ones, you know, this is where it gets a little spicy. Because if you get kind of knocked down in your lane, especially the gold lane, which we know has been so vital for a lot of team success throughout this new kind of, well, it's not new anymore, but this meta that has formed itself since that patch and the changes, the gold lane is going to be very crucial, right? Yeah. And you don't want to die in those 1v1s. I wish we got a picture of it with Sigiboom, but, you know, what a play. And, wow, did that actually get taken?
Oh, Sigiboom!
Again?
You can almost feel the damage because he picked up his first item, Blade of Despair, compared to Zia with the Hasclaw. So you know, by the item prioritization, Zia is really behind compared to Sigiboom, the Turkish trigger man.
Zia's not having a good time, man. You know, I guess you don't bring a soccer ball to a gunfight. Look at this.
Oh, and they're bringing Kazue with him to bring down Shark and try to bring him down. But Shark, quite sneaky, will be able to escape. But look at the pressure S2G is putting on BTK. They're actually going to take down a first-tier turret up top.
Almost there.
Forcing a reaction coming in from BTK. So almost there for S2G.
They didn't get the turret. They're nearly there, though. And you're seeing how much pressure can be put up from S2G just based off the fact that, you know, again, even if Biggin has the real-world manipulation himself, it kind of gives them that threat in terms of space. But then they have the mobility factor, too, because they have a Matilda. And it's kind of getting difficult for Bloodthirsty Kings to be like, you know, how do we approach this fight? How do we actually engage here? And that's why I was saying earlier, you know, they need a lot of time to kind of build up, get to a point. Third turtle's coming up here. And I don't know, man, if Bloodthirsty Kings can actually win this fight for the objective, that'd be great for them to set up into that first Lord coming up. But right now, it's just S2G knowing they have this minor advantage, nothing too crazy, about 1,500 gold. It's going to be started up, though, by Zia. Rest of the team's going to make their way, Mobazane as well. And this is where we expect, you know, the Fredrin pick to shine. But look at the angles that are going to be set up here from S2G. Half health, Mobazane doesn't want to fully commit just yet. They might rely on Shark to jump in with that spatial migration.
Okay, goes in with the Earth Shatter onward combination plus the flicker. Here comes Shark with a beautiful spatial migration onto the backline. Bracer Draft coming in from Mobazane, but Lunar will get the turtle plus a kill onto Shark, forcing BTK to retreat.
Whew, and just like that, that's 3 for 3 in the turtle department for S2G. They further the game lead a little bit more at this point. BTK, they tried to make something happen, but it was Lunar that went in first. It was Lunar that went the aggressive route, flickered in, got the knockup. And right now, Sigiboom really trying to work on this turret. I don't think it's going to get capped out just yet as Mobazane will clear it out, but the bottom goes down. So this is that shift in momentum where now you got all the turtles, you're starting to get these turrets down, and BTK will be kind of scrapping to find what they can.
Looking at the lineup, it's going to be hard for BTK. I mean, it's like you're forced to initiate first, but the problem is with the presence of the Matilda, S2G can just re-engage at any given moment.
Yep.
Retreat, re-engage, especially with Lunar's performance, Flicker and Earth Shatter on recombination, always connecting. So at this point, BTK, they're just going to have to bite the bullet for the meantime and wait for Zia's power spike to shine through later on towards the late game.
You know, that's the thing when we look at this lineup again, is like, when is that power spike going to happen? You know, when is this going to be, when are they going to come online for BTK? And for Zia specifically, you know, he still needs quite a bit of time to build up, because not only is he gapped a little bit in levels, but he's got to catch up on gold. This tier 2 is actually close to going down. At least Zia was able to push down on the bottom side, but ultimately this is leading to a place where S2G is going to have a good advantage when it comes to the Lord take. Now all it could take is Shark to get a proper setup.
Oh, like that one on to begin, but he's not going to fully commit it because S2G is ready to respawn. Okay, BTK, Zia just picked up his Malefic gun, so in terms of counterattacking, he's actually quite able to do that, plus the proper positioning needed to do the free hits onto S2G Esports. But the problem is they have a lot of initiations. I mean, Lunar has been phenomenal with the Edith. Even without the flickers, Earth Shatters keeps on connecting. And look at BTK, they had the initiative to go first with the setup, but with the presence of Pagu's Matilda, they're thinking twice. They're not as decisive as with what they want to do.
This is a little bit different this time around for Mobazane, you know, struggling to get these objectives. You know, yesterday he was on point with them, but so far, the jungle battle definitely going in favor of S2G right now. This Lord's going to be started up half health right now. They've got the advantage in terms of the space to work with, but it will go for a reset. Still kind of limit testing each other, especially in the mid lane, because those tier 1 turrets are still up. But part of this factor too, S2G can actually whittle down some of the members of BTK, relying on the fact that, again, they have this big power pick in the roam, that Matilda able to really help out. But you can see, you know, there's still going to be respect here from S2G. Even with the lead that they have, that 3K lead, they don't want to overstep. They don't want to get overconfident, because we've seen this before. With the best of ones, the case it is just literally with a turn of a handle or a wheel that can change.
Oh, look at the Bennett's Rage onto Shark. SCG, this might be the green light to go and burst down the first Lord. As BTK is trying to just survey the scene, they're trying to decide whether to go for the contest, but the problem is Kazue against Mobazane. Mitsui has a major advantage when it comes to those 50-50 retributions. Lunar goes in once again. Real world manipulation will be casted by Hoon. S2G Esports will back away so far, but will still continue for the Lord. But Shark will get a beautiful spatial migration combination to set up Mobazane for the Lord's sake, and S2G will have to retreat.
And that's what I was saying, man. BTK, they can take it slow and steady, and at some point, the game is going to build up in their favor. You know, you're under the 11-minute mark, but a great show of patience. Really, that's what it was from BTK. They were patient enough to go ahead and get through it, and then get to a point where, hey, we're able to turn things around. Zia is where he needs to be at this point. He's got the Malefic Gun, he's got the Haas Claws, and he can rely on Shark to jump in. That's the thing. How many times does Shark need to jump in to find that proper spatial migration and get things set up for the team? Now it's flipped in their favor. They're going to walk in with this Lord. It should be cleared out pretty well from S2G, but they are going to lose some of these tier 2 turrets. Little trip around from Pagu. They'll deal with the Lord. It's going to go down shortly, and a good push. Also that tier 1, the next focus from Fried Chicken up top. BTK continues to take things in. One of the first times in this game that the gold is, you know, it's slightly in their favor. It will continue on, but they diminished the 3K gold lead.
And BTK just proving what the panel was saying a while ago. Mastery over meta. Look at the off-meta picks BTK has. They have a Fredrin, they have a Guinevere. But so far, those two are the key heroes that set up that Lord steal up against S2G, despite the fact that there was a 2-level gap between the two junglers. They have good position, and at the same time, they have a Suyu paired up with the Sever Retribution combination. It's easy to get neutral objectives, but despite all that, BTK just got a 2K gold lead against S2G.
This is the ever-so-changing of momentum that we've seen so far in a lot of these games, and right now it's BTK in the favor. And you know, with the way that they kind of played that last Lord, that's great for them. They can continue to do that. So if you're S2G, we got to think, all right, how do they actually approach these fights the next time? The part of that equation is the fact that this is the strength of the Fredrin, man. And I know, you know, Fredrin was what? At one point, he was the pick. He was the guy. He fell off in the meta. He came back. Well, you know, Mobizane's the guy that brings them back for the most part. Moba Fred. And, you know, he's popped up in the XP lane, but still in the jungle, he's still that hero that's able to go ahead and tank things up, just kind of stay there and watch you and watch the rest of the assassin junglers that are priority right now kind of just take those shots from the Lord. And then next thing you know, they're at half health. And then you get collapsed on. So for S2G, they might want to approach this next Lord in a sense of, you know what, let's just go ahead and see if we can find our angle. And most likely, that's off Lunar. Lunar's been doing that every single time. And now that they're 15 seconds away from this Lord, he's got the flicker available. You know, he could be the one to set things up, but right now, BTK,
Okay, speaking of setup, they're going to find Shark. That's one member down for BTK at the most crucial time as 5 seconds. The second Lord will respawn. And S2G, they have a decision. Will they go for the Lord push? Will they go for the Lord burst? Or will they take down bodies from BTK? They're trying to poke down Hoon. Here comes the Circling Eagle, but Hoon manages to flicker out. But look at Sigiboom, the Turkish Trigger Man with the Renner. Takes down Hoon. Now Mobazane trying to soak up every single damage. Zia, though, quite alive still. But 5 members of STG are surrounding this second Lord. Will BTK pull off another miracle and steal away this Lord?
They're going to go for it. It's the quarter of health.
Okay, here comes Circling Eagle once again. It's going to be Wet Champions in battle! Sia gets a kill! Zane gets the Lord! And BTK, green light on the attack! Infernal Pursuit from Fight Chicken, but he's going to fall down as well. Mobazane and Zia connection will get another one as Shark manages to find Sigiboom! A double kill for Zia!
Off the headshot from Sigiboom earlier, and they come back with a vengeance. They are bloodthirsty at this point as they march down the mid lane. Lord in tow. Kazooie all alone, ready for the rest of the team. The turret's going to be worked on. Can he do it?
And another pickoff coming in from Shark. Kazooie is going to fall down, and BTK will now become the Turkish Slayers!
And another victory for a BTK. You can see that patience played a part here in their second game throughout the Swiss stage, bringing them to that 2-0. What a victory for them. And yes, you can see the hype. You can see how good he's feeling. Hey, that's the Turkey Slayers, man.
I just told you, first game hyped. What an amazing match. You can feel the emotions coming in from BTK. They want to prove something, and they have proven it. Upping up their standings to 2-0. This is looking good for the whole region of NACT.
You know, you can doubt the Fredrin all you want, but you can't doubt Moba Fred. But also, fantastic game, even from Shark, man. Just incredible game. Hey, happy Thanksgiving to them and everyone rooting for BTK, of course. We're going to throw it over to the panel to break things down even further. Let's see what they think about this game.
Well, they went ahead and did it. Turkey Slayers for the very first 2 days of Swiss stage. BTK gets the dub over S2G in a very back and forth game. I thought it would be one-sided at one point, but no, they just kept trading blows.
On a lane per lane, hero per hero perspective, a lot of big question marks when it comes to BTK's draft. But again, mastery over meta. They stretched the limits of the utility of each of those heroes and made those team fights their backyard.
Honestly, the way that they were playing, so momentum-based, there was a lot of weight between each one of the blows that they were throwing out against each other. I think, honestly, you know, we can break this down even more. There's so much to actually look into, but it's great to see that both sides very reactive.
Shark really got to show off why that Guinevere is his signature. And of course, the rest of BTK, as Leo said, stretching out the limits. Let's go on over to the stage now to hear from BTK.
2-0 for BTK, and this time around coming in with another Thanksgiving dinner, taking down another team from Turkey. With me here we have Mobazane. Okay, first of all, Zane, how are you feeling? Just one step away from actually qualifying.
It feels great, yeah. Feels good.
You're feeling pumped?
Yeah.
It's 2-0. Did you expect it such an easy 2-0, or did you actually maybe even consider a 1-1 or a 0-2 when you guys found out about your matchups?
we're looking to beat stronger teams in Turkey in this tournament.
Ooh, okay, I like it. Now that you guys actually just beat another strong team from Turkey, how do you feel like about the other powerhouses? Now, you said you guys are looking forward to it, but what other powerhouses are you guys looking forward to?
Mostly the big Southeast Asia regions, Philippines, Indo, Malaysia, stuff like that.
Now, yesterday, actually, after Team Spirit won, and as well as RRQ, both Kid Bomba and Skylar said that they are looking forward to meet BTK. Why is that so? Why do you think they're looking forward to meet you?
I don't know. You would have to ask.
You don't know?
No.
Do you want to meet them, though? Do you think
I would
they're
like
good?
to meet them. I would like to
Skylar
go
or
versus them.
Kid Bomba?
Both.
Both. So, are we seeing, do you think that BTK is actually gonna prolong your journey in M6 this time around?
Definitely.
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 What are your goals? Like top 4, top 6, champion? What are we looking at so far, Zane?
Top 4 would be a
Top
good goal.
4,
but
okay.
We'll see how much. We'll see if we can go even farther.
Okay, Zane's getting humble here. Okay, now Zane, maybe just the last question. Now that you've been in Malaysia for quite a while, I think around a week, right? What do you think of Malaysia so far?
It's a nice country. It's nice.
What about the MLBB scene right now? Do you think they're improving? You know, what about the community? We see a lot of people coming in every day.
Yeah, the community is really good. I mean, I come from North America. We never see stuff like this, so it's always a nice sight. So thank you guys for showing up.
Yes, that's very nice, Zane. And I'm pretty sure more people will come as long as M6 is still ongoing. And I'm pretty sure people here would also support you guys. So thank you very much, Zane. Congratulations on another amazing win. And with that, let us throw it over back to the panel to break down what happened in this game against S2G.
More tempered down Captain America that we're getting there. I expected the return of some spicy stuff, but well, it looks like they're just very happy that they got the dub here in what was, again, what we mentioned to be a challenging game for BTK. It wasn't an easy one at all. Again, lots of back and forths.
I don't know if it was considered easy. I feel like, it's a heavyweight match, right?
It
if
is.
one big punch connects with the chin, you're going down.
So confirmed, they did play more of it of Mike Tyson kind of gameplay. Yeah.
It was. Wait, what do you mean? I thought it felt a little bit more Mayweather-esque. It was quite defensive at the beginning.
Because they couldn't. It was up to them to say, I can hit my haymakers now.
Yep.
Okay. So it was like you sent Tyson back to the ropes and then, hope that he stays there.
Yep.
And then eventually Tyson got out. And
Went for the ear, instead found a nice rib punch.
Yeah.
And then
I feel like it was more like Henry Cavill just reloading your fists.
Oh, yeah, the fist reload.
The fist reload real quick. Because
Yeah.
again, that's what it felt like because both compositions were very ultimate based, right? You have to wait for the execution. You have to wait for those cooldowns to come off. And then if you are able to make it connect with the chin, you could see that these fights were devastating.
which I think was key to BTK's comeback. There were multiple instances where Begin could not find Hoon to try and lock down the RWM. And you'll see here in the highlights that there was this one big fight wherein it was perfect almost for S2G, but they couldn't find the RWM, so BTK found him lacking.
I mean, there's that, but also the fact that this key moment here is where we saw the big steal, right? Because inevitably, you don't have that RWM. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
And Shark was able to turn that around. 3-man knock up with a magic thumb, and most importantly, was able to knock up Kazue to allow them to initially steal the Lord. Because look at Kazue's positioning, right? He knows for a fact he's played against Fredrin how many years already. So he's looking at Mobazane thinking, all right, if I get locked down, I'm going to lose this retry battle so quickly. And because the RWM came out so early, that gives him confidence. He's still waiting for that very last moments, especially when the Soul Suffrage got nerfed. So getting knocked up like that, you can only focus on so many things at a time. This just goes to show that attention is also a valuable resource in the game.
Speaking of resources, though, in the very beginning, going back to the laning phase, it looked tough for BTK because the gold lane was struggling. And as you mentioned, we were talking behind the scenes, BTK just couldn't get the control in the center of the map. S2G was the one roaming around first. So I want to look at the two gold laners with the Malefic Gun priorities. Although the Malefic Gun came in second for Siggy Boom, it was an instant rush for Zia, if I'm not mistaken. I'm gonna have to double check that. No, it was a second item too, as well. Malefic Gun really does a lot for compositions that will play with an Eve because it adds extra range and extra poke.
I think just basically pound for pound, Malefic Gun is an amazing item.
Oh, yeah.
It is for tank fighters, the Brute Force Breastplate. So it's perfect for that second item power slot.
Other than the what we've mentioned here so far in terms of the mid lane, it's all right. But Divine Glaive Rush actually by begin. I like that because knowing that he's going up against the Fred in the jungle.
Of course, of course. But the way that we should be looking at it is that if you are going to play compositions of this sort, it's about how much burst and how much range do you need. What is the optimal amount of space of influence you need your opponents to walk into before you actually look for these big executions? I mean, if we're breaking it down roll by roll, obviously the Malefic Gun is great, but at the same time, notice that they didn't rush it first item, right? Both actually, if we looked at the emblems prior to that, Master Assassin. They both really wanted to win the game. Here, let me just pull up the emblems for you to make it all simple for you guys watching at home here. Because another emblem setup that I wanted to look at specifically was coming in from Shark. So, two Master Assassins coming in from both gold laners. We know that they want to win the lane, but then Shark comes in with the Concussive Blast. Now, this is interesting for two reasons. Number one, you're going up against a double-ranged mid lane, right? Matilda into the Valentina, and Valentina, as long as you don't get knocked up by that magic thump, and if the spatial migration is used to aggressively, but melee heroes tend to struggle after two Shadow Strikes. So controlling that mid lane was so very important, but it would always cost a lot of health from Shark specifically.
Yeah, it's the extra wave clear, the poke as well that you can provide, and to really get the control around the center of the map. But again, it was like highlighted about with how BTK decided to go into this, especially it being a little bit more team fight oriented. It's again, they're throwing it back to an older style, to 2-3 metas ago.
But it's a fundamental style.
Yes.
There are many universal truths in the world of MLBB. The fact that Cho will always be meta, and that if you focus on team fighting, everything else can be secondary. And that's why when S2G were up against the ropes, we were looking at their lineup and saying, yeah, if they had to defend, they got to win fights first. And BTK was going to make that impossible for them. That's why BTK, once they had him by the throat, everything just followed. Because look, the final game stat, 5k ahead, BTK was. When you have a lineup that's as easy to execute as BTK's, even Begin will have to wonder, which ult do I take? Which ult can I take?
It's always the RWM. Without a doubt, it is always the RWM because, again, that is the key ultimate from BTK, which enables it in the first place.
And if you can't find Hoon, it's over.
Exactly.
So I'd say S2G were the victims of analysis paralysis. They were wondering, oh no, what's the next decision? Next thing you know, Captain American's in your face, Thunderbelt, slap.
Okay, so did it really just boil down to BTK ended up with a lineup that was easier to pull off?
No, actually, there was one thing that S2G could have done, but then there was an overreaction to it. Now, if you look towards that gold graph at 3.6k, this is a huge lead for S2G, right? The only way that they could actually lose that lead is if that Lord was not stolen. So that was such a pivotal moment. Once that Lord was taken away, it's not like the composition is designed to wave clear in the first place. So that's why we got to give it up to our MVP Shark here. 2 times we've seen this man make insane plays. The first time for the Lord Seal, the second to extend the lead to eventually end the game.
4th straight M series for what many in North America hail to be their greatest tank. And if you ask, few people might even say the actual true GOAT of NA. Over and over again, when he pops up in the international scene, a lot of eyes go to this young man on his signature Guinevere, showing us why exactly this hero is linked to him in NA.
3 years ago, Shark debuted in M3 and he brought up the Lolita. Many were questioning, is this the new meta? Like, what is this North American roamer doing? Could this be his Lolita in M6?
So 3 years later, it's a different roam this time around. And, well, he really popped off again with the knockups. I feel like that's one of the things that usually happens against teams that haven't seen Guinevere in a while. They forget. You forget how strong her counter punish is if she's not the one initiating with the thump.
More so, people tend to disregard how much distance you actually get from the thumb. Because most of the time, it's like, if not, it's like half a screen away. You don't see it a majority of the time until it's too late.
In that 10-11 minute clutch moment wherein they stole away the Lord and almost wiped out S2G, Shark used the breadth of his kit. He literally went from what was that? The orange buff bush, walked it down, went through that pixel brush, and then flickered into the thump into the 3-man knockup. He literally went from state to state.
So, well, there you have it. BTK testing the limits again of their lineup, getting the win over Turkey. Now going to the 2-0 bracket in our Swiss stages, and now a new rivalry brewing for the North Americans. First, it was with Brazil and Archeo Akira. Now it is with the representatives of Turkey. It's Black Friday today, so you know there's a lot of things going on up there. Sales, whatnot.
They
also
copped
have-
themselves a 2-0 slot.
got themselves a 2-0 slot.
deal.
That's a good deal, exactly. And now for BTK, it must be a huge boost. It can't just be like, oh no, we're already here. I mean, come, it's 2-0. Literally, Rose said it best. You're one win away from qualifying into the knockouts.
And don't forget, it's going to be a best of 3 as well. So really, the challenge starts now all the way. Even if they qualify for knockouts, it's not going to be an easy test. And I think that's a lot of the same mentality with a lot of the teams coming in to the 2-0 bracket.
Well, that's only the very first game for today. We have more coming your way. Another interesting story between two unexpected teams to make it into this portion. It's Falcon of Myanmar, Falcon Esports of Myanmar, who took down the runner-ups of MPL Philippines Season 14 in Aurora MLBB versus the unexpected champions, the villains turned heroes of Saudi Arabia and Twisted Minds.
I like it. It's a clash of dark horses, and if you know what the history and the reception, the fanfare is from both of these teams from their home regions, you'll know that there's a lot on the line.
And we're going to be seeing two Filipino coaches duke it out with their teams. Again, it's Myanmar versus Saudi Arabia coming up next. It was a great start to our very first or second Swiss stage. Second day of Swiss stages for M6 World Championship. Again, my name is Ramar Santa Cruz. We're here with Leo and Gideon Q. We'll be back after a very short break for Falcon Esports versus Twisted Minds here in Swiss stage. Day number 2, it's M6.
for ultimate glory starts now.
Mobile Legend M6 スイスウォッチ Meiji Hello Panda semua suka biskuitnya Biskuitnya enak isinya lezat rasa coklat dan strawberry Hello Panda semua suka biskuitnya Biskuitnya enak isinya lezat rasa coklat dan strawberry Hello Panda biskuit isi yang enak
Two of the worst feelings in the world. Stepping on a puddle with your socks, so wet socks, and getting overlooked. Sometimes when you get overlooked too much, you just get tired of it and you snap. You do something unexpected, shock the world, and immediately eyes are on you. That is what these two teams did. The Soaring Falcon from Myanmar and the Twisted Masterminds as Falcon Esports versus Twisted Minds from MENA. My name is Redmar Santa Cruz. Welcome back to the panel here with Leo and Gideon Q. Again, a crazy start to the day. BTK being the first team to go 2-0. Now we're going to be seeing two unexpected teams potentially be one of the opponents of BTK. You know, who never knows? It depends on the draw later in the day. But if you want unmatched gaming performance, you should get yourself Leo, what's that called again? It's on the tip of my tongue.
It's called the ROG Phone Series 9. This is the 8 Pro, but you can get unmatched gaming performance with the aforementioned 9 Pro. A mobile masterpiece that seamlessly blends high-powered gaming with a sleek, modern aesthetic. It's going to have about the same silhouette, but more powerful innards. It's got the Snapdragon Gaming Elite chip, last I checked.
Yeah, totally practiced that, and I totally didn't forget that you had your ROG phone there with you. Soft flex, but now I kind of feel bad about myself, but I'm very happy that we have ROG Phone 9 Pro watching over us. Thank you for M6.
You touch it.
Good. Oh, thank you. Oh, this
Apparently
is
you can play Pong on the back of that thing.
Oh, whoa.
Yes, you can. On the Anime Vision.
Yes.
Yeah, you can set that up.
All that power for Pong? Heck yeah.
right? It's
All right,
just a fun thing.
Sorry, apparently I still have a job to do. So, if you want to participate in the M6 Lucky Gift, you can join the draw for a chance to win Claude's new Epic Skin, Challenger's Flare, and Beatrix's new M4 Epic Painted Skin Lightseeker. Can you do that again, please?
Both of them do that, right? Like, 'cause this is Nibiru and then Claude.
Is that Claude and Dexter? All right, and 3. 1, 2, 3, go. Perfect. So don't miss the rare opportunity to get Beatrix's M4 exclusive and M4 Prime skins returning for a limited time. So let's talk about the upcoming match. I like what our fantastic creative team have put up here. The Upset Kings. I mean, they both pulled off some upsets, and Specifically, these two hurt this entire desk yesterday with the loss of Aurora to Falcon and the loss of Vamos to Twisted Minds. Now, which one do you want to talk about here today? Like, you know, anyone really? It's a democracy here.
I mean, I'm going to start with Twisted Minds because, again, this was very, very shocking. For the longest of times, most people would have imagined that the Middle East North African region was probably the weakest amongst the rest of the competitive table. But nowadays, this is a huge change because this was from MSC 2024 all the way up to now, a very short period of time. Their own MPL has been running for quite some time. The fact that they are here today and also taking down big contenders, just absolutely impressive.
Yeah, the turns have been tabled, as the kids say these days. And Myanmar, though, it's not exactly the same thing because there's always been eyes on Myanmar.
I've always had an eye on the next big team and another eye on the Burmese ever since that night in Singapore. I can remember like it was yesterday. You would too. 7 games against the Burmese Ghouls. The Philippines had to take them down the hard way to start their era of domination, our era of domination. But ever since then, you know, the Burmese have had their own brand of MLBB, and now under Falcon Esports once again, since what was that, M4. We last saw them, they went deep in M4.
Yeah, before getting eliminated by RRQ.
Yep, they're pushing hard again with a brand new roster, a young set of athletes that's pushing the boundaries of what's allowed in an aggressive metagame of MLBB. Yesterday, I think it was Dax who brought out the Bane. It was bittersweet for me, but as a Bane main, like, that's what you get.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure though we might actually see more Bane pickup, so don't worry about that, Leo. So as much as the family Madrigal would tell me to not talk about Bruno, well, let's talk about Bruno. Here's something from Sanji. A lot of the meta has changed in the past 1 to 2 weeks, and teams are starting to realize how good Bruno is, especially when he has the Malefic gun. I like what he said right there afterwards. Even SRG has lost to that Bruno, and I think that's a good way of telling the world just how broken that combination is.
It's a broken combination, but at the same time, it's one of the few matchups that you don't expect, right?
Yeah.
Again, people have been testing out a couple of new things, and I think number 1 has been Granger. Number 2, people know that Bruno is up there. The question is what beats him?
Yeah, it's hard to come back with the Bruno. That's what Sanji says. But if you get the momentum in the first 5 minutes, you'll be able to win. The funny thing is, in the previous matchup, we got to see the Bruno struggle in the early, and it took longer than the first 5 minutes to actually be able to turn things around. So it's not impossible to beat a Bruno. It's not impossible to make a comeback with the Bruno.
If anything, Twisted Minds would know. They had a Bruno yesterday. They were also behind, because again, Vamos' draft was very aggressive. They had that mid lane Khalid, and it took him, what, way past late game, and then they had to come around, and then that's how they did it. So I think Sanji's just downplaying how strong Bruno is, really.
Yeah. By the way, these are all just the highlights of all of the terrific Bruno performances we saw yesterday. And again, it boils down to the simple fact and reality that one of the biggest problems of Bruno just gets solved by one item, and that's why the meta has shifted, because people have realized how dang good Malefic Gun really just is.
I mean, it's a yes and no, right? I think, you know, it's on top of the fact that the meta really favors burst at the same time.
Yes.
And now that Bruno is like, wait, I already have naturally one of the longest ranges in the games. Let's, you know, add a little bit more. A couple of extra inches never hurt.
Yeah, so let's now bring the question up in the air of, do you ban Bruno right away? Is it something that if you cannot take it, you ban it?
I think they're called units in the game, like the range, but no, I don't think you ban Bruno. I think we are just at the
deal
cusp.
with it?
Yeah, I think we're at the cusp of figuring out what makes Bruno tick, and I give it up until the knockouts before we have to say, yeah, let's just ban it. That's my opinion, because I don't think we've ever seen a gold laner do such a thing.
In a way we have. Before Bruno, it was Harith.
Exactly. I was about to bring up the exact same thing.
But it wasn't a range thing for Harith.
I mean...
It was more of his odd power spike mid-game.
No, but in a way, that's me agreeing with you, because eventually we solved Harith.
Well, I mean, yes, we did solve Harith. I think that even with the Bruno here, a lot of it just really boils down to your execution, right? How exactly are you going to try and punish it? Whether it's in lane or in the team fights, the good thing about Bruno is that he has consistent damage, and it happens to also work with a crit build, which is so far have been doing a little bit better overall compared to pure attack, and also when it comes down to the Divine Trinity.
Yeah. So now, then it sort of connects to the question of like, are we just slowly going back to the meta that led to the Filipinos getting 4 straight world champions? You know what? There's a lot of questions, so let's talk more about the stars of this upcoming match. Let's start it off with the Soaring Falcons of Myanmar. They have an iconic Bruno player in their midst. It's Benny.
That's right. Aim high, fly high, flanked by his side laners, Dax and Royal Milk. What was that? Maybe a year and change ago, wherein Royal Milk was part of a different lineup, then called the Phoenix Esports, less than stellar performance at MSC 2023, and he was the weak link. A lot of people would say, oh, Royal Milk, da-da-da, Royal Milk, da-da-da. Watch their games now, especially in their recent qualifier in Myanmar. Watch yesterday, watch today. Royal Milk will open up the map. Royal Milk will allow for Dax, PX7, and of course, Benny to start rolling.
Something about Falcon Esports tells me they are a team that just know how to acupuncture. Well, they know how to hit the perfect mark.
Yeah.
Whether it's in the draft, whether it's in the game, they know how to hit that perfect point to trigger their victory conditions. Now their opponents are going to be from MENA, the Twisted Masterminds.
And honestly, Twisted Minds, they shocked even me, especially against a team like Vamos, who plays so early game. It's good to see that Twisted Minds can handle it with Sano, Troll, Cuffin, Oda, and as well as Sanji. The big standouts to me, I think that Twisted Minds this time round, it's really their meta, right? Sanji is able to kind of open the map for the rest of everybody else, but Hoda, especially on these assassins, really helps accelerate this game. We're depending on Cuffin, of course, to try and keep control generally, but man, Hoda stands out to me, and I want to see whether or not his assassins are still going to be a high priority, especially since we already know that Benny and as well as Hano both want to play Bruno.
The Magi.
The hidden pharaoh. Name. I don't know why I instantly changed my voice there, but you know, for Twisted Minds, I think you can start off with a very simple approach. I actually got a chance to chat with Delar, and of course we know that he got to play with the members of Burmese schools.
Oh yeah.
And he said that his friends from Burmese schools told him, why did Aurora let the Bruno through? Then don't they know that Benny's actually the best Bruno in Myanmar?
If anything, I first saw the Bruno come out of the Myanmar qualifiers. Like for months now, they've been playing Bruno.
Yeah, and Benny popped off with it. So, he was asked what he thinks about Malaysia. He says he likes the weather. It's nice. It's been raining a lot. Is it normal to rain a lot during this time of the year?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So, they asked about the food, and he hasn't tried anything? Okay, so, Gideon, if you're talking to Benny right now, give me like that one dish that he definitely should try.
I mean, I don't want to always go to just nasi lemak every single time. I think we gotta step it up a little bit. I think we gotta go for something a little bit more interesting. Let me think about this.
Adobo. Oh, no, I'm kidding.
probably like a bone marrow curry or something.
Ooh.
Gotta go straight to the high end stuff.
And of course, a glass of tetarik.
Oh, I mean, it kind of depends. I mean, we have plenty of drinks and plenty of favors. I'm surprised that he likes the weather because I don't think it's too different anywhere across the world. This time of year, it is usually, depending on the way the seasons go, it's always going to be rainy season, then it's hot season, then it's mosquito season, and then it rinses and repeats.
You have a season specifically for that? I thought in Southeast Asia that's like every day.
Oh no,
isn't that our life?
It's just a cycle.
It's like
I'm pretty sure it's the same in Myanmar.
Can't escape it. South ASEAN region strong, folks.
ASEAN.
But of course, now let's turn our focus into what Twisted Minds have done. What they did against Vamos yesterday. They can tango with a very aggressive team fighting lineup. And I think now if Falcon Esports want to just say, hey man, let's just out-macro them, you know, they're from MENA, maybe they are going to get surprised because this Twisted Minds team, they can actually force really good fights.
Well, that's the thing. I think that at least when you're up against like a team like Vamos, where we're very linear, right? You play early game, that's what we're good at, that's what we're going to stick to. There was some level of pre-preparation. A lot of their picks, the Tigreal for an example, going into that game, as soon as he has his ult as well as the flicker, he's instantly going to go for it. It's all about controlling tempo. And I think that's something that Falcons do pretty well too, but I'm hoping that the battle is going to lean more towards the EXP side of the map because again, we're expecting Bruno to be selected pretty quick and maybe even Assassins in the jungle.
I just want to say this. I really hope this is not a one-sided game. And yeah, you're going to hear every caster say that, but there's something about these two and them playing a close match and what it means for the rest of global MLBB. Falcon, they beat Aurora. Twisted Minds, they beat Vamos. And now we see Twisted Minds on the blue side as immediately I like and appreciate teams who take out Eve in the first phase because it's such a strong first 2 picks on the red side.
I think it's pretty decent, but at the same time, you also got to get rid of Jushin as well as the Fanny. It's just, you know, the curse of being on red side. You got to get rid of these power picks. But
100%.
but the fact that Twisted Minds decided to get rid of both Hylos and as well as Hilda is kind of interesting.
They're just opening it up for Gatot. That means Gatot is going to run Rampart.
Drop the beat
And
of the flash. Your team.
second game in a row today. They let through the Matilda.
Ooh.
I think Matilda still has to be respected.
Rush it now. Oh no, they rushed to Bruno. They want to immediately put it in the hands of Saano. That is, well, ballsy.
Look at the smile on Benny's face.
It's like,
It's like that, huh?
they took my hero, bro.
I see you. But at this point, I think that Falcons can start threatening the positions, right? Because, if we're thinking about Bruno, what is more dangerous? A Purify Bruno or a Flicker Bruno? And most would say the Flicker, and I would have to agree. I want to see something that's going to force him to take that Purify, and having, and initially, the Fulvius makes sense, I guess, but at least the Vexana gives him a reason to do so.
Yeah, the Fulvius pick to me is quite interesting because with the Bruno already, that you say, okay, I want to play Fulvius, even though I already know that you have the right marksman to deal with it. So hopefully they still round that out. They need another tanky frontliner. It cannot be utility. Weirdly enough now, because of the Matilda on the other side, Falcon might actually have to accept the fact that they need a lineup that can thrive in longer team fights because of the shields of the Matilda.
Wow.
Oh, but they go for wombo combo for the first 3.
Honestly, it's such an honest draft coming in for Falcon. No flex
Yeah.
pick, nothing. They're just gonna say, hey, we want a team fight. We want to make sure that Fulvius is in front, and if anything goes wrong, we got Tigreal in the back to turn it around.
Yeah. Even though the Twisted Minds lineup is still also quite honest, there's a little bit more of trickery involved with who gets the guiding win. But as far as we know, it's Matilda supplementing the Alpha.
Yep. And the 50-50, I think the fact that Coach Lyric and Coach Daliot confirmed their jungler, they understood that whatever Dax picks up, the Matilda and the Alpha should be able to deal with.
Yeah.
So, weirdly enough, the Suyo is still open. The Pain yesterday is still open.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Wait, so now I have a question though, I just realized. If you're Falcon, would you consider banning out something like the Aurora? Because I feel like a Twisted Minds having Aurora with them, with the Take Vex and even the Fulvius, the Aurora might actually thrive against those heroes.
Actually, 2 picks that I'm interested in seeing. Whether or not the Valentina is going to be thought of at all, or at a bare minimum, get rid of that glue. Because again, that's the only thing that's going to be able to take care of this Fulvius in lane and have some form of hard control against their opponents.
Yep, also safety if ever they are telegraphing the Bane. You want things that allow for the Bane to just roughshod hit the CCC in the back.
Yep. Yeah.
I wonder though, if Falcon open up the glue, maybe they're thinking that we have a Sana in a way who's gonna have like a, he's gonna have the lightning truncheon. You can kill the mini glulets real quick, and at the same time that magnifies the resonant damage that pops off. And if anyone's very close to that glue, then it's actually not gonna be good for Twisted Minds. Might be the bait that they're trying to set up. Aurora. So yeah, Falcon ends up respecting it. What's the Valentina maybe for Twisted Minds, as you mentioned earlier?
Possibly. It's right now, there's only 2 valuable ults at this point. One of them puts you in a lot of danger. The other needs an enabler. And the only other enabler that you got right now is Matilda, which is a little unreliable most of the time. Or you can really depend on that Alpha, right? But it's more of a counter-engage tool more so than to extend your lead. Yeah. So at this point, I think that Twisted Minds, it's smart that they're getting rid of at least the Beatrix at this point of time to make sure that that lane is even harder for the side of Falcons, and getting rid of the Nolan to make sure that the pace is going to be kept at a pretty standard rate.
Alright, so they take away the burst, the Suyo will be active, so that might end up becoming the jungle trade. The aforementioned Bane, I think for whatever, I think, yeah,
Bane is
they
so
might actually be
good
okay, yeah.
If they pick up the Bane, it's gotta be in red 5.
Yeah.
My imaginary world.
So yeah, I'm sure that's not Bane. Okay, so it's gonna be a 1-1. Getting picked up with up against a Bruno, I feel like that might not be the best.
Yeah, no, but I think that's Coach RC and Coach Nyo Chao's way of saying, you know what? Benny, just get in his face. The Bruno needs time. The Bruno needs like at least a power spike. But the 1-1 plus a Vexana visit, like that should be enough.
I don't know about
You're
this.
forcing Troll to babysit Sano.
how much of a babysit? I mean, I think it really just boils down to how does that lane actually go. And I think that Wanwan doesn't actually do that well unless you're able to like consistently hit 2 weakness points on your trade and then move back before the second auto comes through. Oh, that's actually such a good idea coming in from Twisted. I like the Sicilian here, but the Edith especially, a great way to say, hey, it doesn't matter what happens in my lane. If Wanwan gets a little too close to me, if I get locked down, it doesn't matter. I'm able to slow down the pace of the game to create opportunities for both my Alpha and Sicilian.
And a Hayabusa is the assassin pick for Falcon. There are the cores, the main carries, I feel like might be outmatched here. But if it goes very well for them, then they can snowball. But just looking at the lineup of Falcon, this might not end well for Twisted Minds might not end well for Falcon. Tossing on over to our casters.
Thank you, panel, for breaking it down. My mind's a little twisted here. Once again, welcome to the caster desk. I'm Naisuit, joined here with Ingan, and we're here to bring you the second match of the day for Swiss Day number 2. Absolutely amazing. I love both drafts. Ingan, what do you think here as we get a last look of them?
And looking at the lineup of Twisted Minds, talk about range, talk about mobility. You have the Bruno, you have the Mathilda as well, and it's a good thing that it's paired up with an Alpha, because you know that the Spear of Alpha normally used to initiate or to escape. But with the presence of the Guiding Wind and Circling Eagle, there are a lot of possibilities, a lot of combinations that Twisted Mind can do with his current composition.
We'll see if this time around, as we jump into the Land of Dawn, in this best of one, if Falcon Esports can soar high once again, or has Twisted Minds brought genius to this best of one. Both of them with surprises yesterday, and now unfortunately after this one of them is going to experience their loss. But with that being said, again, both lineups look really good. The thing that sticks out to me too, I mean, you know, I've spent some time over in the MENA region recently, and they love this pick, man. They love the Sicilian. They love to get this hero, build up on it, get the stacks that you need. And it's almost in a way, you know, this kind of late game composition card up your sleeve. If it's not handled, then the game doesn't end soon enough. So work has to be done here for Falcon Esports, and really looking at the emblems too. You know, you're going to be going with the speed again. I'm surprised still. Like Leo mentioned, the Mathilda is being let through. It's being picked up. But then, of course, you know, Falcon Esports did get a great roam option themselves. I think both roamers are going to be very crucial to allowing the team to get the upper hand to start off with. But this is the combo that we see so often, man. You know, the Mathilda and the Alpha, able to just move around the map really well.
Yeah, again, the presence of the Guiding Wind ensures that Alpha can just go in at any given moment, especially for the neutral objectives. And if the Spear of Alpha doesn't connect, there's always an exit route for Twisted Minds. And looking at the emblem set of Sano, he does have, again, the Master Assassin. So in terms of dominating the laning phase, he's confident enough to do this up against Benny. But look, Falcons Esports, speaking of confidence, they go in and bring down Sanji, forcing Twisted Minds to react. But the damage is not going to be enough. Hidex goes in, once again with the Sacred Hammer, just to bring down Hoda. And Naisu, did you expect this early aggression from Falcon Esports?
You know what? I did, because both these teams love to play the style, you know, and if they can get that going, Cuffin might be trying to make a play here. PX7, oh, he's going to get one shot down. So a good pickup kill. Twisted Minds will get that one. I'm surprised, you know? And against all that, too, Falcon Esports will get that first turtle secured by Dax.
Yeah, and for Twisted Minds, you know, they have the late game insurance again with the Sicilian, but the thing is, you don't have to wait for the late game for the Sicilian to get its power spike. We've seen a lot of Sicilians activate at 10 minutes in, 11 minutes in, assuming that Twisted Minds will play this to perfection. But the problem is Falcon Esports, they know this also, so that's why, as much as possible, they're trying to speed things up. They're trying to catch Twisted Minds off guard. They're trying to twist their minds.
They're trying to, yeah, you know, at that point, that might be the play for them. But look at the thing about it too is with Falcon Esports starting with the momentum that we saw earlier on. Again, that's what they have to do. And, you know, they have to be able to get the foot going because they're playing against the mobility that Twisted Minds has. But also, in a way, it's like a ticking clock for them because of the fact that you have the Sicilian here. And the fact, too, that Cuffin just got an early kill, giving him that little advantage to build up a little bit faster, get the items that he needs a little bit faster, he'll play into that, right? And part of it might be, all right, can we catch him? Can we catch Cuffin down? Because we do want to be able to deal with him. And the fact that he has a Purify, but he can also rely on Matilda to be there for Troll to just pull him out of danger is what's going to be difficult for Falcon Esports to pull off. And again, that's why the fact that they have this Tigreal here, they have the Eternal Guard that they can rely on too for a little bit more crowd control. And like Gideon was mentioning, Benny in the Wanwan against this gold lane matchup. Again, this is the top performing gold lane hero right now, this Bruno. And it's going to be a mainstay for probably the entirety of the tournament. Wanwan in that matchup, you probably need a little bit more care. You probably need a little bit more safety in your lane and play the safe route if you can. You could get aggressive against the Bruno, but you also don't want to be caught out because you don't have those get away from get out of jail free cards like you do with Twisted Minds. So Dax will go ahead and get a position here. Turtle is up. We'll see if they're able to secure it. They do have a minor lead too. Twisted Minds, they know they have the mobility. They know they have the utility. Sanji's gonna jump in, finds three.
Finds three, but answers right back with Implosion for Kid X. Trying to bring down Sanji, and first man down is Kid X for a Twisted Minds. They answer right back to bring down Sanji as well, but look at Royal Milk into the midst of everything, up against four, just trying to zone out Twisted Minds for Falcon Esports to trade for that turtle. But the problem is Hoda is here, but Dax will still get the turtle, plus the kill onto Hoda.
Royal Milk's job the whole time was, guys, just look at me. I'm here, I'm in the air, focus on me. He distracted, Dax.
Dax goes in with a shadow. Is it gonna be enough? Oh, here comes the circling eagle, but he's gonna be alone. There's the stun and the kill for Troll, making things work for Twisted Minds, and that is a huge trade for them as Cuffin goes in with a Sanguine Claws to get a shutdown onto Benny. And
that Troll had wings singing.
Yeah, literally, man.
He had wings, he was flying, and I could hear Leo shout Kaka over there. But man, I'll tell you what a play and an answer from Twisted Minds. A lot of back and forth, and you asked me earlier, this is exactly what I expected with these two teams. Their play styles, the region themselves love to play like this. Kid X taking a couple shots, and he's gonna have to go heal back up. But ultimately, it was a great turtle take an objective. You got to keep that in mind. Falcon Esports has those two turtles in their favor, and it was a great distraction from Royal Milk, but there's still that fighting power coming out from Twisted Minds.
And the thing is, this is their actual playstyle. They're methodical. They like to go for those big team fights, and if ever they're getting pushed, they're going to try and manage to find the trade as much as possible, and so far they're doing that successfully. Even down to the drafting phase, they've done it methodically thanks to the help of Coach Lyric. I mean, getting Bruno out of Benny's hands is in fact amazing, and plus the Matilda and Alpha combination that you can clearly see is working for them. But I do have to commend Cuffin. Cuffin has been, Twisted Minds' scapegoat, because the first kill of Twisted Minds, it came from Cuffin down to the bottom lane, and now the follow-up onto the top lane to even out the score to 5-5 and try to diminish as much as possible Falcon Esports' lead.
The lead right now, very, very little minor lead. But at this point, if they get this third turtle, if they lock it in 3 for 3, that's going to be great for them leading into that first Lord. Twisted Minds, though, you can't count them out. It's relatively an even ball game at this point. Either team could secure this objective and even secure a devastating team fight. They're going to jump in.
Implosion going to catch two, but the counter-attack is there for Twisted Minds, as Dax will get the turtle, plus the kill onto Sanji and to Soda. And now Falcon Esports, that was a heads-up play coming in from Kid X. Despite the counter-initiation that Twisted Minds wanted to do, they got the proper targets during that time. And now they have a 2.2k gold lead with the third turtle. Might even get a hold on this mid lane turret. And Falcon Esports, this time they made sure Twisted Minds doesn't have a trade.
That's what I said, both roamers going to be crucial in both the teams here. Their success in this matchup. That time around, Kid X with a massive implosion, able to find the right targets exactly where they need to. And you only got a couple Purifies, you have some of the flickers to be defensive with it, but if you get caught out in that implosion, you're most likely going to just go down and be dead, because Falcon Esports lineup too, very front-loaded with damage if they're able to go ahead and find those kind of setups. And so Twisted Minds will find themselves on the back foot a little bit. Again, they're still able to kind of find wins around the map if they can, but they're going to kind of be forced to also be together, travel around wherever Troll is going, try to stay in that safe area with them as a team, essentially, because they can't get caught out from Falcon Esports. And anytime that flicker is going to be available for Kid X, you know that he's probably going to go for that set. So Ingon, before this first Lord comes up here, how does Twisted Minds kind of get in position to secure themselves this next objective?
I think it's going to be hard for them to contest. Again, they have the late game insurance in Coffin with this Sicilian. In any given moment, if this Sicilian pops off, they can actually turn things around and extend the game, but that's the thing. They have to extend the game up against a very aggressive team like Falcon Esports. Here comes Kid X once again, gonna catch Oda, gonna commit the implosion as well, plus the internal guard just to bring down the jungler, but Twisted Minds wants to go for the fight. They're gonna bring down Royal Milk, but look at Benny picking up a kill for himself, gonna bring down Troll as well. And Falcon Esports, that's a trade again. They're willing to take a jungler, a roamer.
Talk about perfect timing. You find the jungler, you find the roamer, and Lord comes up. It's free pickings at this point for Falcon Esports. They're going to secure this one. And that's what I was saying. The damage is so front-loaded that if Kid X is just like, guys, I got it. Here's the implosion. Boom comes the Eternal Guard, and then a kill to follow. So Falcon Esports' lineup that they brought to this game is just phenomenal. And Benny, honestly, Benny hasn't had to do too much. You know, he's able to just go ahead and farm up to what he needs to do. He hasn't really had that moment where he's doing this game, you know, team fight winning crossbow of Tang, because so far they haven't needed it.
Yeah.
And Dax alone too, the fact that he is on this Warcry emblem, you know, Hayabusa, that's what I'm saying. Once he just goes and gets those stacks off and then pops the shadow kill, like, someone's gonna go down in that exchange. Now they're gonna go ahead and manage these waves as they get ready to knock on the base of Twisted Minds. They still hold on to a couple tier 2 turrets, actually all of them. That bottom one nearly gone, and it is gonna go away once this Lord pushes down. Now the mid and top focused on 2. I'm wondering, I'm trying to look at Twisted Minds' potential to defend in the base here. Anytime you have a Sicilian, your base defense is pretty good, you know, especially depending on how many stacks you have. But still, they got to rely on being able to clear this out. It's not a game-winning Lord push. It shouldn't be unless they just get dismantled in the base. So they've got to manage this appropriately. Sanchi will take a couple shots. The shields are going to go down as all 3 holy defenses are popped. Sano finally gets the Malefic Gun though too, but they are ultimately able to defend and keep things together.
That's the discipline instilled for Falcon Esports. They know that in order to maximize the first Lord as much as possible, they're not trying to take down an inhibitor because it's almost impossible going up against a lineup up against a Sicilian. So right now, their goal was just to, as much as possible, maximize the Lord, pop the Holy Shields, and at the same time, don't give Twisted Minds, you know, a trade for them to bank on, for them to help extend the lead and eventually enable Coffin, enable Saano. So Falcon Esports, they're going to play the waiting game. They're going to do this by the book as much as possible. Wait for the next Lord. Try to get pickoffs, especially with Kid X. Try to activate Benny as much as possible as well. So let's see how Twisted Minds will react this time.
This is a little risky right here. Dax jumping in.
Wiggy Shadow Kill onto Coffin, but Troll here to save him, and now Twisted Minds are forced. They're just forced to stay inside their base because of the initiations that Falcon Esports can do. It's not just even Kid X's implosion, just merely the fact that Wiggy Shadow Kill coming in from Dax can do the job to bring down either Coffin or Saano at this point in the game.
That's the thing, man. He's got Hunter Strike, he's got BOD, he's got Endless Battle, you know, and as the time goes on, that Wiggy Shadow Kill will actually probably kill Coffin the next time around unless they're able to go ahead and defend against it. So more so a limit test, but also, meanwhile, like I said earlier, Benny hasn't really had his moment just yet. You know, he's able to provide a little bit of damage, but now that he's got the items that he needs, he's got Corrosive Scythe, DHS, hold on, top side.
Very aggressive play, bringing a Soda with him as well, but Benny, will he be able to pass the crossbow? Yes, indeed! Paired up with Implosion, coming in from Kid X, gonna bring down 2. The next target is Sanji, gonna fall down in the hands of Benny, and as you were saying, we haven't seen Benny popped off Naisu. This is how you do it with the 1-1. Now they're as aggressive as possible, gonna bring down Inhibitor. Eternal Guard to zone out Saano, and Falcon Esports, they didn't even have to wait for that Lord. They were able to use the aggression of Twisted Minds to their advantage. And now it's just 7.9k gold lead for Falcon Esports.
As I was just saying, you know, Benny hasn't had his moment just yet. Well, there you go. He got the triple. He made that team fight go in their favor. But you're seeing it. I know they just got the Lord here. They have a massive lead, 8,000 gold ahead. But like we saw just briefly ago, that's what, 180 plus stacks that Coffin has right now. Looking at the replay here, brought to us by Kadia. This is actually insane. The setup potential in the top lane went really well for Benny. The timing of it all comes together, and this is, I'm not sure if we get it more in the replay, but you actually see the damage potential coming out from Cuffin. And again, this Lord is going to be pushing in, but they do have a great lineup to go ahead and try to defend. They have to avoid Kid X. He doesn't have the flicker this time, but the base turrets are going to be worked on, and now the Lord comes up on the top side. They're going to jump in and focus on these base turrets, trying to expose the base the best they can, but look at the clear speed that I'm talking about. Cuffin clearing things out alone just with those bad impacts. Here's the conceal.
Okay, they're going to try and go for a pick-off here as they destroy the mid lane turret. One base turret left for Twisted Minds. Falcon Esports still hasn't committed anything yet, but Saki goes in with Earth Shatter, casting the Primal Wrath as well, but the counter attack coming in from Falcon Esports is just too much. Uigi Shadow Kill paired up with every single damage Falcon can bring will take down Hoda and Sanji, but Royal Milk a bit too over-aggressive there, but Falcon Esports, they got what they wanted. All base turrets are now taken down, and the lead has now gone to 10K for Falcon.
Took a mouthful of bats, man, and that's what I'm talking about. As long as Cuffin is fine, you're clear, and your defense strengths are going to be there for Twisted Minds. Now, how many times can they do that? We're reaching the point of 15 minutes in the game. He's definitely got more stacks than the 180 we talked about earlier, but that's the thing too. Even the items are being locked in. He's got that Wishing Lantern too, Lightning Truncheon, Glowing Wand. He's where he needs to be, and as long as he is safe in the back line, and if Falcon Esports isn't able to catch Cuffin out, then that's great for Twisted Minds. But that's also the double-edged sword to it. Here we go, 269 stacks, 271. He's stacked up. He's feeling good. And so that's the thing. If Falcon Esports, if they do get rid of Cuffin, that's the double-edged sword to it. They lose a ton of damage for Twisted Minds lineup.
Yeah, and Cuffin right now, they're even giving the Cecilian the purple buff, so expect a lot coming in from this mid lane there. And the thing is, if they overcommit a lot of ultimates, a lot of battle spells just to take down Cuffin, there's also the Saano problem, the Bruno problem that Falcon Esports has to prioritize later on. But so far, so good for Falcon Esports. A 9K Goldie, they're just gonna wait. They're just gonna wait for this Lord once again, or they can pull off another amazing play up top, like what they did when they used the over-aggression of Twisted Minds to their advantage. The Circling Eagle Flicker combination just to try and bring down Benny. But the problem is, Falcon Esports was able to turn things around.
I wonder if that's the play here. That's the IQ play from Twisted Minds. Guys, just give up the Lord. Let's just rely and just put all of our hope in Cuffin, but it looks like they actually want to go for this, but they're too late.
Okay, Falcon Esports get the Lord. Implosion once again coming in from Kid X, gonna catch Sanji, and that's all the way to the back line. Trying to go for the flank, but Sanji with the Primal Wrath is able to stay alive. Here comes the Winter Playground for Twisted Minds, but the damage coming in from Falcon Esports just too much. Royal Milk once again will be the sacrificial lamb in exchange for Hoda, and a very, very favorable trade once again for Falcon Esports.
Oh, Troll going for it. They want to delay the recall from Falcon Esports, but Twisted Minds, they lose Hoda, but they're still in the game. Cuffin's going to be fine. He's going to clear out this mid lane. Lord is pushing down that, so they're going to try to stall it out the best they can. But the fact that Falcon Esports doesn't have Royal Milk, it's a little tough.
That's
Oh! What?
Gets deleted by Twisted Minds. I just said a while ago, Falcon Esports had a favorable trade. Now it's not. They still haven't solved the problem of how to get Cuffin. I mean, Dax tried to go with a Wiki Shadow Kill, but the problem was it got instantaneously bursted down by Saano and the rest of Twisted Minds. And this might be the opening as Kid X already commits his implosion. Oh, this might be a green light for Twisted Minds, but Benny wants to answer right back though. The stacks aren't there yet, and Falcon Esports lead slowly diminishing.
Oh man, if Twisted Minds just continues to do this, stack up and punish Falcon Esports. I mean, think about how much gold they just got, by the way, with what they did. Yeah, about 4,000 or 5,000 gold. And yes, all the base turrets are down, but you've seen this before. You can actually defend this type of game with this kind of lineup, keep things together. I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get in a position to actually contest a Lord, but if they do, because they showed signs, they kind of showed interest in doing it the last one, they were just a little bit too late because they got to manage these waves pushing in. But if they actually get into a position where, again, a one bat impact is taking down, what, half your health bars from Falcon Esports, it's going to make you think twice. Especially the fact that then you consider the two junglers and, you know, Dax, he just got checked, man. That was literally a punch in the face. Looks like, again, they're just going to have to manage the waves while they wait for this Lord.
Who got the purple buff? Was it Dax?
Dax and PX7 both have purple, so it was stolen, but again, this is expected from Twisted Minds. You really aren't going to have that much space to work with in your jungle.
Okay. So now Twisted Minds, again, the question is, will they contest? As you mentioned, they have the capabilities to do so. A good Spear of Alpha, Circling Eagle, Guiding Wind combination, and just back away. If they don't manage to out-retry, Falcon Esports might do the job, but considering that they have a Sicilian, they can actually just try and defend this once again. Just try to avoid Kid X's Implosion Flicker play.
This is where it comes in clutch, too. The fact that they got 3 Winter's Crowns. You got an Immortality for Sanji, and then, of course, you got the Wind of Nature for Sano. So they have so much utility, so much defensiveness that they can rely on. Falcon Esports, given the lead that they have, it's more so of how do they approach the fight? How do you solve the puzzle of what Twisted Minds is bringing with a lineup? And again, part of that is taking control of this Lord, starting it up. You have those waves pushing in on all 3 lanes. And Twisted Minds might make the decision again to just go ahead and wait in the base, but they get close enough.
Okay, Troll has the flicker. Here comes KDX with the Implosion play. A lot of members from Falcon Esports will get knocked up, but Dax will still get the Lord as Hoda will fall down as well. Skill 3 coming in from Sano. They're trying to fight back. They're going to bring down 3. 2 members left from Falcon Esports as they take down Benny as well. Plus KDX. PX7 is left to fend for themselves. They have a lot of turrets in the middle lane, but Twisted Minds, they have 3 members ready to end the game.
Right now, they're going to march down mid lane. They have to deal with the Lord. It's quite a beefy Lord if you see that shot that Sano takes. But they'll handle it well. PX7 also trying to not just let him take it. Oh, PX7 in trouble. Won't be able to get away as Sano picks up the kill.
But that might be enough time ball for Falcon Esports because in 12 seconds, Dax will stay alive. A Royal Milk will also respawn. But Twisted Minds at this point of the game, you'd be happy with whatever you get. And in that point, they got 4 kills. Even if Falcon Esports got the Lord, that was the risk that they were willing to take to extend the game. And on top of that, Sano remains deathless. Coppin remains deathless, still has the Purify, I believe still has the Winter Crown. So Twisted Minds can engage once again up against Falcon Esports.
We're back to where we started, Ingan. You know, 21 minutes in, it's the stalemate. But hey, Twisted Minds has been doing work. And that is, again, now we find ourselves, you know, swapping some items in and out. That's a Holy Crystal picked up by Cuffin. And, you know, a lot of the Winter Crowns were burned up earlier on by both sides, I would say. So for this point of the game, comes down to it. Sanji goes in!
With the Earth Shatter Flicker combination, but the Crossbow of Time will be cast as well. Primal Wrath just to evade that. Look at the Spear of Alpha coming in from Hoda, but the KDX with the Implosion gonna be taken down by Cuffy with a Bat's Impact. That's 1 member down once again. Falcon Esports, they had a lot of opportunities to end the game, but Twisted Minds just staying on the defense with Cuffin, with Sano. No casualties for Twisted Minds.
This is what we expected with 2 teams who just shocked the world watching yesterday in day 1 of the Swiss stage, and now here we are, 485 stacks. This guy is built. He's built diff at this point, Ingan.
He's geared up. He's ready to fight. 1 Bat's Impact might be enough to take down half the squad of Falcon Esports. So right now, Falcon is resulting to the macro game. They want to try and create split pushes from the opposite lanes. They want to try and control where Twisted Minds can go and get an advantage once again to try and take the Lord away from them. But Twisted Minds at this point, like, they're geared up, as you mentioned. They can take down, they can go all in at any given moment.
The part of this is still the fact that managing your waves. You know, for Twisted Minds, they have the Lord this time spawning up there on the top side. I wouldn't be surprised too if Falcon Esports takes a different approach to things. You know, like plays the long side of the lane, puts pressure there for a response from Twisted Minds. It looks like that's the idea. So this is where, you know, the adjustments, the game knowledge, and how you handle this macro decision is going to come into play. That bottom wave pushing in a little bit slightly. Kid X still there on the bottom side too. Benny waiting patiently, and Royal Milk will start to give some of the information. It looks like Twisted Minds will rotate on up. You got 4 Winter Crowns now, plus that Immortality over there. Still the win in nature here. Persano picks up the potion too, and Cuffin, his job with the purple buff is to clear out these waves the best he can.
It's really gonna boil down to this potential last Lord. Falcon Esports have secured 4 Lords for themselves, but the problem is they cannot fully utilize it because bodies from their side are slowly taken down by Twisted Minds. So if you're Falcon Esports, do you try and bait out the Lord? Do you try and... What do you do? Since you can't go to the backline, since you can't reach Cuffin, especially with the presence of Troll, who is on point, by the way, with how he's playing this Mathilda, because so far his damage dealers are yet to be taken down.
Well, look at this. They're actually going to be the ones to start it up. Hoda can't just hold it together, though, because he takes shots from PX7, but also from the Lord. Penny on the bottom side. It's going to clear that wave out. Cuffin is still there, so we should be able to manage it. Lord's at half health. Might find themselves in a position where it has to be given up. Royal Milk still has that Immortality, sitting at half health himself. Here we go. Kid X might be looking for a setup himself with the implosion.
Might be
Goes in.
Goes in with Spirit of Alpha, but Troll gets the Lord away from Falcon Esports, and now they're mad. They want to go for bodies, taking down Troll as well. Sanji might be able to survive this, but Benny takes him down, but they manage to take down Benny as well. A 3-for-1 trade for Falcon Esports, but Twisted Mind, they still have Cuffin, they still have Sano, and they got the Lord. Is this defable still for Twisted Minds?
It is. I mean, the fact that they have this Lord and the waves are going to be pushing in. I can't believe Troll got that, but wow, Falcon Esports, they're going to be the ones to deal with this. Sano and Cuffin chasing off PX7 and Kid X. Not the positioning you're looking for here. They're going to wait a little bit longer for the rest of the team to come up. Whoa! Kid X!
Okay, Kid X still has his Immortality, hasn't been popped up yet. But that's scary. One catch from Cuffin and Sano can do the job to bring down Falcon Esports. Now their Lord is still up. 9 seconds before Troll respawns once again, but we have to commend what this Mathilda has been doing. Saving Sano, saving Cuffin from harm's way, getting and stealing the Lord away from Falcon Esports, keeping the hopes and dreams of Twisted Mind still alive.
Oh, Sano.
Oh, they're trying to go for Sano, though. He still has his Immortality. But the bounce impact, and Sacrament Claws is too much to handle. Look at the shield Sano is getting. Here comes Eagle. The counterattack coming in from Twisted Minds, just really bringing the damage onto Falcon Esports. That's 2 members down. And Twisted Minds, they have the chance to end this right away.
Still going to be putting the pressure there. Finally, on this side of the map, Twisted Minds, they've done work. They've stayed disciplined. They stayed consistent, and now they're knocking on the base turrets of Falcon Esports. So it's 3 members still. Quite long death timers here for Falcon Esports to deal with. You saw how much utility is thrown at them, and right now, Twisted Minds in the base.
So Soda goes in with Spear of Alpha. Still no ultimates from Kid X, though. Are they going to be able to defend this? Here comes the implosion, connecting onto 3, but Troll onto the backline. PX7's Immortality will be popped. Look at the damage coming in for the Bats Impact. Soda is going to fall down as well. Crossbow attack is there for the Winter Crown. Will disable the ultimate. 2 members from Falcon Esports left to defend. Twisted Minds, they still don't have minions. Minions in the middle lane approaching. This is risky.
This is so risky.
Okay, back gonna connect onto PX7, gonna bring him down, and Twisted Minds, the rising region of MENA, the future looks to be now.
What a comeback from Twisted Minds. Off of the fact that you have, I don't even know how many stacks Cuffin had, but man.
Too much.
Too many. Not enough. Whatever it was, we knew this pick was something that this region loves, and Twisted Minds comes out with a victory. After repeated defenses, they keep it together, and after a Lord take from Troll, they take this and they get the victory. Definitely an amazing game, an amazing just show of strength from Twisted Minds. And the mind behind them, too. Big shout out to Coach Lyric. But our panelists, let's hear what they have on their mind about this game.
And cut! That's a wrap! What a game from these two! Twisted Minds versus Falcon, I got my wish. We talked about this beforehand, folks. It's time to whip out the PPs again, prediction popsicles. We talked about it beforehand, what our predictions were heading into this series. I predicted Twisted Minds.
I, on the other hand, predicted for my Burmese brethren. I said Falcon. A lot more talk about how they played here, but hey, Sera.
I had to make sure that it was an honest. I kept it to my guy. I went for Twisted Minds on this one. And honestly, I definitely thought that the draft, it was going to be tough, but geez, what a game.
Well, Leo